Hi, thank you very much for joining us again today. Welcome back. And we are going to discuss one of the most important topic of VAT today, which is called VAT on the real estate. There are three major developments as well, because FTA has reissued charity guides as well as FTA has reissued guide on the real estate. FTA issued one more public clarification also that deals with the change in the permitted use of the building. Our source of information would be law for our discussion purposes, regulations, guides, and public clarifications. Based upon the law, based upon the regulations, guides, and public clarification, I have gathered all informations and I have classified all this information into 16 contents. That will almost cover everything, and we will try to discuss everything from the real estate point of view. This is real estate, what is real estate, types of real estate, labor accommodation, farmhouses, supply of goods and services, their tax positions, tax point, input tax recovery. We will discuss taxation from the developer point of view also. We'll see the relationship in between landlords and tenants and related taxability as well. We'll see the owners associations taxability. We'll see the VAT from the contractor's point of view also. Of course, this is not possible to discuss all these things in one lecture, but over the period of time, we'll discuss everything in detail. So what is real estate? Article 21(1) of VAT regulation says any area of land, it can be bare land, it can be a commercial land, it will be considered real estate. Any building, structure or engineering work permanently attached to the land, it will be considered a real estate. Any fixture or any equipment which makes a permanent part of the land or which is permanently attached to the building, structure or engineering work, it will be considered real estate. So types of real estate. There are 4 types of real estate from the UAE law VAT point of view. So first is the residential building, second charitable building, third is a bare land, and fourth one is the commercial real estate. We'll discuss every one in detail. So residential building, Article 37 of VAT regulations deals with the residential building. They said basically principally building intended or designed for human occupation. Building intended or designed for human occupation, it will be considered a residential building, and it includes building which is being used as a principal place of residence, it will be residential building. Residential accommodation of students, school peoples, it will be considered a residential building. I think in the very short clarification, FTA has mentioned that labor accommodation will also be considered a residential building. So the building used by the armed forces and the police, it will be considered residential building. Orphanages, nursing homes and rest homes, it will be considered residential building. But law has very clearly highlighted that these 4 will not be residential buildings. Building which is not fixed to the ground, it will not be residential building. Hotels, motels, hospitals, it will not be considered residential building. Serviced apartments, it will not be considered residential building. We'll discuss in detail what are the serviced apartments. So any building constructed or converted without lawful authority, it will not be considered residential buildings. Hopefully you will be clear what is the residential building. So charitable building. This is a charitable building means any building specifically designed to be used by the charity or solely for the relevant charitable activity, it will be considered a charitable building. It has been very clearly written in the guide that if the building is being used by the designated charities bodies, then it will be classified under the charitable building. Otherwise, it will not be classified under the charitable building. And the list of designated charitable bodies, definitely we can find it in the respective cabinet decisions. So land that is not covered by completed, partially completed building or civil engineering work, it will be considered bare land. If there is some sort of civil engineering one on the surface of the land, or there is a partially completed building, or there is a fully completed building at the surface of the land, then it will not be considered a bare land, it will be considered a commercial real estate. It will fall under the commercial real estate. I will say this is a commercial land. Commercial real estate. Law has not given the definition of commercial real estate, but law has mentioned in the guide, it has been mentioned very clearly that commercial real estate is any land or building which is not part of the following three, which is not basically residential building, which is not charitable building, and the third one, the building is not basically this is not a bare land. If this is not a bare land, if this is not a residential building, if this is not a charitable building intended to be used by the charity, then it will be considered commercial real estate. Thank you very much for joining us. Tomorrow we will have another important session.